Welcome to the end of a not so interesting day, as per usual in a trading day. Sure. We'll get right into it with EURJPY. In terms of the 4-hour, everything is bearish at this moment. 4-hour bearish, 15-minute bearish, right? But we did have a bullish 4-hour break of internal structure and then an immediate shock back down. By immediate, I do mean a day or two, right? Basically a day. We are well within this huge fucking range. That is annoying at this point, right? Because there is no good long-term direction. But for now, we don't need it. And with this change of character right here, we would expect this 4-hour internal to pull back in, maybe to here, maybe to this point, maybe even lower, but a chalk does signal the internal pullback. And on the M15, as of now, we had a 50-minute bearish break of structure right here. But actually, if we do a recap for the day, right, 6 a.m. here, we have the market push up after sweeping the Asian lows, pushes up, creating a chalk within here, very strong chalk. I was at the time looking at what kind of reaction we get out of here, and it was a very hard push down, right? As you can see on the M5, we did have a strong push down, right, which invalidate. Wait a minute, that's not what I'm looking for. I think this is what I'm looking for here. Right, okay, we had a push up, right? We had a reaction before the push up, so this is a valid inside bar. You would expect, if price is to continue higher into this 4-hour POI, it can be a quick run from here into here, so you would want to scalp that. And on the M5, you pretty much had it basically blast right through it, right? Blasted right through, and then we have it come into this little bit stronger M15-minute zone, and on the M5 as well, it did not create a entry model that I am comfortable with taking buys, and so we saved ourselves a loss in there, and then we went on to have a break of structure. Break of structure comes up, it's an internal pause here, just tag into this reaction here, this flip zone right after the I pause, and then we come into this. So my expectation for Asian / London and for the rest of the day tomorrow is probably for this to hold, and then we target this 4-hour zone, which is the 15-minute pullback, right? We have an I pause which signals a swing pullback, which is this, and then from there maybe come down lower like that. Okay, moving on. I'm not sure how annoying this fan is, but I don't feel like stopping and waiting for it to stop. Sometimes it goes on for a long time, and so I'll just continue over it. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the audio way too much. Even if it does, whatever, it's no big deal really. Okay, moving on to EURUSD. Euro USD, we had our 4-hour break of structure, right? Last week Thursday, we had the pullback in for Friday, and then the sell-off on Friday and Monday, right? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we have the pullback back up into here. So overall picture, I would say that on a 4-hour scale, we are ready for a deeper pullback, right? And we come into a daily zone, which could be enough to facilitate a deeper 4-hour pullback. But for that to be confirmed as a 4-hour pullback starting, would have to see this 4-hour internal high go, right? And as of now, it has held and had a that is not a valid chunk. So as of now, we are still bullish even on the 4-hour of Euro USD. So going down to the M15 for a little bit of a better idea, we would now observe that the M15 swing bearish structure has pretty much finished forming, right? The swing pullback is done. So in terms of the 4-hour, you may find this internal high holding and this continuing low with this M15 minute swing. With the M15 minute swing, okay, we've had the pullback into the extreme, and a few moments ago we did have this internal break of structure. So expectation would be for it to, during tomorrow, because there is no great POI in here, you probably would want to wait for something like that and then look to go lower like that. But you do have IBOS, which means you would be trading pro swing and pro internal, which is your highest probability in terms of trades. And so you probably look for something like this in here and then just play the confirmation trades, right, which is the pro swing pro internal. Moving on to GBP dollar on the 4-hour, same as Euro USD, we have a break of structure. With this, we do have a much deeper pullback, which even gave us a 4-hour internal break of structure, and then the immediate pullback to give us a chart down, which signals that the internal could start being bearish, right? And once the internal starts being bearish after the swing pullback, it's a good sign that the 4-hour will now start going bearish again. And then on the M15, we did have a break of structure, right? But you should remember that a break of structure could have occurred to facilitate the 4-hour pullback, and now with the internal break of structure, you could look to follow it lower, more especially because the 15-minute swing pullback is not yet in like equilibrium, for example, which would be around down here at the 50%. Right, as you can see, 50% line is lower right there, and so still playing the cells is high probability at this point. And when you add in the fact that the 4-hour pullback could be done and the momentum on the 4-hour may start being bearish, you would start to give the 15-minute less precedence in terms of what you want to follow. And so final verdict for GBP USD would be to follow the internal, right? Because we did have an internal break lower, and then look for one of these zones to probably hold in here. Let's say this one for example, but probably would be better to wait for confirmation, something like that. And we go lower like that. But overall direction we are looking for is for sells. This is like best case scenario, but in other cases wouldn't even wait for this. Maybe go on the M5 on zones like this flip zone right here. Just immediately go on the M5 looking for the sells. But we'll see how it develops into London tomorrow, and then just take it from there. Euro, not Euro, USD CAD is bearish on the 4 hour, right? How is this bearish? Explain to me how this is bearish. I've never seen bearish records like this in my life. It is in fact bullish. Right, the 4 hours bullish. We had a break of structure right there, and then we come in, we test this 4 hour POI, which makes me think that the 4 hour USD CAD will continue upwards, aligning with GBP USD sells and Euro USD sells as well. So the narrative of dollar versus euro, it does show that the dollar strength probably will prevail, and so the 15-minute as well. Good price action right here. For today we did come deeper into this 4 hour, and then it just started pushing heavily to the upside, indicating that this 4 hour swing pullback, not 4 hour, 15-minute rather, the 15-minute swing pullback has been completed, and we would probably start to see it target these highs. So this one, simple as ever, just look for the continuation plays into the 4 hour. Any zones that are left in here, or I would expect from them, is probably reactions and not like full on deep pullback. So say we come into here, slight reaction maybe for a zone in here, and continuation at the very best or worst this zone could do, right? I don't expect us to hold and go deeper. I just expect a reaction, and then we continue upwards. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Then for tomorrow, we need to have high focus. The markets are aligning for very good plays today. Not very great price action. The market was setting itself up with very linear moves like this, where it's not really easy to find trades within here because it's very linear. And so same as in here, tight, compact, I wouldn't have been looking for sells in here anyway until the break, which we got at 6:30, and at that point I'm no longer trading. So I think tomorrow could be, not could be, but it should be a day of high focus and not miss out on the potential moves that look like have set up very well. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.